Morning, ma'am.
Beta, good morning. Can we switch on the cameras, please? Okay, right. Let everyone come. We'll start with the class, right? Hope you all have the books with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Gacha. Good morning. Okay, how many classes you have since morning? Do you all have the books with you? Beta, do you all have
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Tell me what we were doing yesterday. I think we were on depletion of resources, the development of resources, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How many have joined the classes since morning? Huh?
What, ma'am?
How many have joined the classes since morning?
Ma'am, me.
Hmm? Okay, wait. Let me share the screen. Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So we'll be starting with
Development of resources.
right. Today is 4th of May, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So development of resources, geography chapter 1. I think yesterday 2 points we discussed about development of resources.
Ma'am,
Yes,
one.
ma'am.
Just one
Ma'am,
point.
depletion of resources.
And
Depletion
depletion of resources.
and concentration also we discussed, I
Of
believe.
resource.
No, ma'am.
Nutrition and ecological effects.
Huh? Okay, development of resources. see, we all know that for our survival, we have been developing these resources, right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
because of the excessive development of these resources have reached a stage where they are, about to deplete. So, the first point for this is like we'll be discussing about the problems that the development of resources has led to over exploitation, right? First is the depletion of,
Overutilization.
you can say exploitation also, overutilization also, both goes. Okay, it is the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Depletion of resources.
Resource.
Hanji. Now, because we all know that we have been overusing these resources, right? So, because of the overuse that we have been doing, we are at a stage now where these resources are becoming extinct, and we really need to think of, alternate resources where we can compensate the present existing resources that we have, so that in near future we do not run short of these existing resources, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what is this practice of, planning the resource use and keeping them in reserve for the future generation and not compromising with the
Ma'am,
it is called,
sustainable development.
very good, Anand. It is called as sustainable
Development.
development. Fine. See, we all know that depletion of resources is all because of the overutilization of resources. And if we plan the usage of these resources in such a manner that we are not compromising with the present need, and we are saving for the future generation as well. So this term is called as sustainable development, or it is called as resource planning also, right? It goes both ways, right? But because
Yes,
sustainable
ma'am.
development is more into practice these days, and all over the world, many of the countries have shown their concern for the sustainable development. So we go with this sustainable development wala thing. Okay. Now the second point is that the
Ma'am, concentration of
yes, bacha,
Concentration of resources.
yes. Uh,
concentration of
wait a second, huh? Wait a second. Some of the students, I believe, they are in the meeting, huh? Just a second, wait.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Alokik Pathak in your section only?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
yes, ma'am.
Fine, fine. Okay. So, sustainable.
Development.
Okay. So, second overutilization or the, excessive use of these resources has led to concentration of
Resources.
resources, right? Now, this concentration of resources, what does it mean? It means that, some people have complete access to the resources that we have from the nature, and some of the people, they hardly have, access to these resources. So because of this, what has happened? The society has divided into the haves
Ma'am, gives and
and have nots, right?
gives and have not.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, that means some people are becoming
Rich
richer
and
and richer, because it is concentrating, no? So some people are becoming richer and richer, and many of them, they are becoming poorer day by day, right? That way, you can say concentration of resources has led to a society where people, either some of the people have everything, and some of a group has nothing with them. So that way, we need to think that the way we are developing these resources, we need to, uh, have a balancing. We need to ensure that everybody has, equal access to these resources. Fine. Then the third point says global.
Ecological crisis.
Ecological
Global ecological
crisis.
crisis.
Global
Ecological
Ecological.
crisis, right? Right. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
what is this global ecological crisis? Anybody in the class who can say what is this?
Ma'am, overutilization, ma'am, like ma'am, chlorofluorocarbon, and that
Okay.
lead
No,
to global warming.
if only ecological crisis, you have to tell me what will you say? We are see by the overutilization of these resources, we are damaging the ecosystem, we are damaging the environment, right?
Yes,
We are
ma'am.
we are creating an imbalance in the ecology that we have. Like, all those people who comprise this ecosystem, we are some in a way we are hampering, we are damaging them, right? So we can say that global ecology, because of the overutilization of these resources, we have led to global ecological crisis, which has in turn led to global warming, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what scientists, they say that till last year, till 2022, global warming was there, but since 2023, we have entered a phase where it is now global burning.
Burning.
Yes, it is now global burning. See, those places, those regions which were considered to be, having moderate temperature, or, the temperature not going above 35 degrees or 40 degrees, but
Ma'am, Mumbai.
but in recent past, what has been observed, it has been observed that, the places where the temperature used to remain 35 degrees or 37 degrees, those places are, like the mercury in those places is hitting somewhere around 45 degrees.
40, 45 degrees.
45 degrees. Like recently, 2 3 days back, Bihar, West Bengal, they experienced somewhere around 45, 44 degrees of temperature. That too in the month of
May, May,
uh,
April.
April, and you can say April and or the beginning of the May month. But this was not the condition in past. These places, they have never hit, the temperature has never gone above 37 degrees. So whatever the scientists are claiming, that means global warming, they are right. Right, everywhere throughout the world. It is not only in India that we are going to face this kind of global burning. It is throughout the world. Many of the places, many of the countries, this kind of situation is going to prevail, where the temperature is going more than above 50 degrees. Generally 50 degrees of temperature we have where in the desert regions.
Yes, ma'am.
Like somewhere in 1975-76, Sahara Desert, the mercury had touched 50 degrees of temperature, and that time there was a huge hue and cry about it, that where the world is leading, where this global warming is going. But at present, it says that in those areas, those regions, the mercury may go above 60 degrees. Okay. So at the end of the day, who is going to suffer? We as human beings, we are only going to suffer because of the overutilization of these resources. Then we have also, because of the excessive use of these, resources, which are releasing, uh, smoke, or, gases, which is depleting the ozone layer. Depletion of
Yes, ma'am.
ozone layer, right? Depletion of ozone layer. Just a second. Few of the students have entered the meeting. Garv, you are joining from two devices.
Yes, ma'am. I will leave from this device.
Why? What happened? You are not able to. अच्छा, चलो, ठीक है. No issues. Right. So, global ecological crisis also includes depletion of ozone layer. Now, what is this ozone layer? How it is protective to us? Anybody in
मैम
the
मैम यूवी रेस से प्रोटेक्ट करता है.
very good. वो UV rays क्या होती है? Ultraviolet rays of the
मैम अल्ट्रावायलेट.
sun. एग्जैक्टली exactly. तो अगर अगर ये ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीट हो रही है तो इससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, मतलब हमें कुछ नुकसान होगा इससे?
मैम मैम सन मैम
मैम
स्किन बर्निंग।
हाँ,
स्किन बर्निंग।
मैम ओजोन लेयर खत्म हो जाएगी
मैम
उससे।
लिख के पढ़ा रही हैं तो कैसे
ठीक
करूँ?
है।
स्पीकर इज नॉट
ओजोन
वर्किंग।
ओजोन लेयर के डिप्लीट होने से हम लोगों को क्या नुकसान होगा?
मैम स्किन
मैम
बर्निंग।
स्किन
स्किन बर्निंग होगी, एग्जैक्टली। स्किन रिलेटेड एलिमेंट जो है बढ़ जाएंगे, राइट?
यस
राइट।
मैम।
हाँ, वेरी गुड। तो कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं इन इन जो ये जो हमारे जो इकोलॉजिकल क्राइसिस है, जो हम ओजोन लेयर को के डिप्लीशन की तरफ जो बढ़ रहे हैं, कहीं ना कहीं इससे क्या हो रहा है, इससे जो है ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीट हो रही है, और ओजोन लेयर के डिप्लीशन से मोर एंड मोर पीपल आर प्रोन टू स्किन डिजीजेस, स्किन एलिमेंट्स। ठीक है।
मैम पहले हो चुका है ये।
क्या चीज?
मैम ओजोन लेयर मैम मैम ऊपर से नॉर्थ पोल के साइड से खत्म हो रही थी।
एकदम 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 आप ऐसा समझो पूरी गायब हो गई है, और इतना ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो रही है जिसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है आपको पता है? जो पोलर रीजन्स है वहां की जो स्नो का जो एक्यूमुलेशन था, इट इज मेल्टिंग। एंड कहीं ना
यस
कहीं
मैम मेल्टिंग।
आने वाले टाइम में जो है इट इज गोइंग टू क्रिएट लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम फॉर अस, क्योंकि जो ग्लेशियर्स वगैरह मेल्ट कर रहे हैं, जो आपका जो पोलर रीजन्स है, वो प्लस जो माउंट स्नो कैप्ड एरियाज जहाँ पे थ्रू आउट द ईयर जो है स्नो एक्यूमुलेटेड रहती थी, those areas, this the this snow is melting, and it is melting at a very high pace. साइंटिस्ट का ये कंसर्न है कि जिस जिस रेशो से, जिस रेट से ये मेल्ट हो रही है, इनके मेल्टिंग के साथ साथ जो वायरसेस बैक्टीरियाज इनके अंदर ट्रैप हो गए थे, जब ये नीचे पानी, नॉर्मल पानी में जब ये मिलेंगे, तो दे विल क्रिएट लॉट ऑफ डिजीजेज ऑल्सो। इट इज नॉट कि केवल पानी जो है फ्लडिंग हो जाएगी या पानी का ओवरफ्लो हो जाएगा, इट इज उनका कंसर्न ये भी है कि इस फ्लडिंग और इस पानी के ओवरफ्लो के साथ वायरसेस और बैक्टीरियाज भी जो है नीचे आएंगे, जो अलग अलग तरीके के एलिमेंट्स को जो है डेवलप करेंगे। तो कहीं ना कहीं वी नीड टू think over it, that how to think of alternate resources where we can we are not damaging more of this ozone layer. Depletion wala thing is restricted then, right?
मैम एसी से और रेफ्रिजरेटर से ज्यादा होता है।
किससे बेटा?
मैम एसी और रेफ्रिजरेटर।
पर बेटा ऐसा है ना, वो बात सही है, इन सब चीजों से होता है, बिल्कुल आई अग्री। बट हम लोग ऑल्टरनेटिव तो सोच रहे हैं ना बहुत सारी चीजों के। हमने हमने जो एसीज में जो हम गैस डालते हैं, उससे जो सीएफसी रिलीज होता है, हम उसको कॉम्पनसेट कर रहे हैं, हम उसको चेंज कर रहे हैं। एक नया सा, आई एग्जैक्टली आई डोंट रिमेम्बर, एक एक मटेरियल है, एक लिक्विड है, जिससे हमने उसको चेंज करा है, बट अभी वो बहुत ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस में नहीं आया है। जब वो ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस में आएगा तब जाके कहीं हम ये कह सकते हैं, इंश्योर हो सकते हैं कि हाँ वी आर नॉट कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग इन दी ग्लोबल बर्निंग वाला थिंग, क्योंकि अभी उसका
यस
यूजेज
मैम।
लिमिटेड है। हाँ, उसका यूजेज लिमिटेड है। वेरी फ्यू ऑफ द कंट्रीज आर यूजिंग इट, राइट?
यस मैम।
अब इसकी वजह से ग्लोबल इकोलॉजिक क्राइसिस में पोल्यूशन इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन, है ना भाई? पोल्यूशन ऑफ ऑल सॉर्ट, हम लोग जो है एयर पोल्यूशन कर रहे हैं, हम लोग नॉइज पोल्यूशन कर रहे हैं, हम लोग जो है वाटर पोल्यूशन कर रहे हैं, हम हर तरीके के पोल्यूशन को हम इंक्रीज कर रहे हैं। ठीक है, जितनी जितनी ज्यादा फैसिलिटीज हम यूज करना मांग रहे हैं, जितनी ज्यादा डेवलप कर रहे हैं टेक्नोलॉजी वाइज, उतना ही हम जो है कहीं ना कहीं अ, बाकी प्रॉब्लम्स को भी एग्रीवेट कर रहे हैं, राइट? बेटा, इज अनुकल्प इन आर क्लास 8th?
यस। यस मैम।
यस मैम।
ये तो पूरा टाइम आते ही रहेंगे ऐसे हैं क्लास को डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए। दिस इज नॉट डन। चलो, so I hope all these 3 points are clear to all of you.
यस मैम।
यस
Chalo. Now coming to resource planning. Okay. Now see, planning, we all know what is planning. We know what is planning.
यस मैम।
Huh. So
Yes, ma'am.
what is resource planning then?
मैम
to
किसी
use
भी
the
चीज को
resources
मैम।
in limit.
Huh?
To use the resources in limits because they are going
मैम
to be
रेशनल वे में
extended.
यूज करना।
Huh. We can say that skillful use of resources can be
मैम
categorized
जूडिशियस
as,
वे में।
can be stated as resource planning, right? We need to ensure that whatever resources we are using, we are using those resources to the maximum, right? And then only we are disposing them of, right? So resource planning is a technique where, we are using these resources in a very skillful way, in a very judicious manner, and we are trying to, safeguard on these resources that we have left with us, keeping in mind the future use as well, right? Now, this part is clear. Resource planning is clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
why do we need resource planning? We have so much of resources with us, but still people are emphasizing on resource planning. Plan your resources, go for judicious use of resources. Why is it so?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, because
as
most
a
of the resources are limited in supply.
Huh. Okay, why do we need to uh, plan for resource planning? So first reason Arav has told is,
Are
yes,
limited in supply, most of the
huh,
resources.
as most of the resources
Are limited in supply.
are limited in supply, right? Like, can you give example of any one such resource which is limited in supply?
Ma'am,
ma'am,
petroleum,
petroleum.
Right.
fossil fuels.
Exactly. Coal, petroleum.
Yes, ma'am. Like all this fossil fuels.
Fossil fuels, they are in, very limited quantity left with us. And if we will not think of alternate resources, a time will come when we will go back to that, era where people were moving on bullock carts using the wooden wheels, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is the second reason for
Ma'am,
the need of planning?
unevenly
Ma'am, we
distributed
need
over
to
the
save it
country.
for our future.
They are unevenly distributed,
Distributed.
right? Now, if I hope everybody knows about the physical features of the country, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, if I
Yes,
ask you, okay, if I ask you, which regions of our country has maximum of the mineral concentration?
And Jammu and Kashmir.
Jammu
Jammu
and
Kashmir.
Kashmir. Are you kidding me?
Ma'am, मिलने का.
मिनरल कॉन्सेंट्रेशन आई एम आस्किंग. मिनरल्स का मतलब समझते हैं, अलग अलग प्रकार के
Yes,
मेटालिक
ma'am.
एंड मेटालिक नॉन मेटालिक मिनरल्स का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कहाँ पे
Ma'am,
सबसे?
Gujarat.
नो, नॉट गुजरात.
मैम राजस्थान.
Few
मैम
parts,
महाराष्ट्र.
few parts of Rajasthan you can say, but see,
Ma'am,
maximum.
Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, MP you can say. See,
Ma'am,
maximum.
Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand.
Exactly. So what is this belt called? Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, parts of West Bengal, parts of, Odisha. What is this belt called as? Chota
Uh,
Nagpur Plateau?
No, ma'am.
Of
Yes,
course,
sir, yes,
Chota
sir.
Nagpur Plateau it is called. The plateau region that we have in the country that has maximum concentrations of minerals, right? Maximum
Yes,
of
ma'am.
iron a maximum of iron ore is found there, coal is found there. So we can say that the Deccan Plateau region,
yes, ma'am.
okay, Deccan Plateau region, then we have Chota Nagpur Plateau, and then we have Malwa Plateau, right? Like
Yes,
Rajasthan, Gujarat, they fall in this category of Malwa Plateau. We have, of course, we have, mineral concentration, but when we compare it with Chota Nagpur and Deccan Plateau, we find that Malwa Plateau has a less concentration of minerals in it. Okay, right, class?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
yes,
So if you look at this, maximum major portion of the minerals that we have in our country is found in Deccan Plateau, Chota Nagpur, and Malwa Plateau. What about the rest of the regions? Rest of the regions, they have something or the other, but then the maximum concentration is here. And if you look at the industries that we have concentrated, like the industry concentration, it is again in these regions only. You will find all the iron and steel plants in Chota Nagpur Plateau region or in the Deccan Plateau region,
Yes, ma'am.
South India, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So we can say that because of the uneven distribution of these minerals in the entire country, we need to go for a resource plan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Then comes the third point, overutilization because of the pollution that is being created. But we need to plan
Yes,
because we cannot survive in this pollution, no? Uh, few years back there was severe uh, bad quality of air in Delhi. Many of the places in India they are facing this problem, and because of that, certain provisions were made by the government to ensure clean air, right? But then,
Yes, ma'am.
of course, the government had to take initiative. So because of the pollution that we people are creating, so to safeguard ourselves, what do we need to do? We need to find certain alternate resources where by using those resources we are not contributing in the pollution part, right?
yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right, okay, fine. Then because of the overutilization, many of the, like, if you look at the country's condition, you will find some of the states or some of the regions are highly developed regions, and some of the states are they are so backward that it will require another 15 to 20 years to bring those regions to a particular level when it comes to development part. So overutilization of these resources has led to underdevelopment of the economy, because till all the regions are developing, we cannot say that our country is a developing economy. Can we say that?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So for overall development of the economy of the country, we need to ensure that every region is equally developed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So underdevelopment of the economy, right? Then the fifth point says we need to plan the human resources also. No,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
yesterday we discussed in the class that we all human beings, we are very important part of resources. So
Yes, ma'am.
if we are planning our human resource, then only we'll be able to contribute in the development part. We as human resources, what we can do, we can we can think of several alternate resources,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So when we find alternate resources, we'll be able to utilize those resources for the overall development of the country. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we plan for something, we are actually making ourselves self-sufficient, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Self-dependent.
We are making ourselves self-sufficient and self-dependent as well, no? When we don't depend on
Yes,
people for
ma'am.
anything, that means we are self-dependent and we are becoming self-sufficient as well,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Okay. Then comes the last and the
Yes,
important
ma'am.
the last and the important point says that we have inherited all these resources that we are using in the present times from our ancestors. So it is our responsibility to pass on these resources to our future generations as well, no?
Next generation.
Ma'am,
Exactly.
yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we need to plan resources because we need to carry forward these resources that we have been using, which we have got from our ancestors, so that we need to use them in such a way, in such a manner that we are able to pass on these resources to the future generations. Okay. Right, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you
yes,
hear
ma'am.
my voice?
Who is this? Arshifa?
I'm Arshifa.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, I can, but I cannot see you. Your camera is not on, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
Ma'am,
Okay, fine. No issues. No issues. Now, this resource planning, all clear and understood all the points?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Fine. Now coming to the impact of overutilization of resources. Now, what is the impact of overutilization of resources? Huh?
Ma'am, fossil fuels has led to energy
overuse of
crisis.
resources.
Huh?
Overuse of
Overuse of?
resources.
The resources like
Yes.
fossil fuels. and other things like
Okay, impact. अरे अरे just a second. Huh? We are on impact of overutilization.
of resources.
Huh. So what is the first impact of overutilization of resources?
The fossil fuels has led to energy crisis.
Huh. The
Fossil
fossil fuels have led to energy crisis. Overutilization of fossil fuel has led to energy crisis.
Energy crisis.
Huh. So impact of overutilization of resources has led to energy crisis, we can say, right? Then because
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
because of the indiscriminate utilization of resources, this part
Has
has
led
led
to
it has
ecological
led
crisis.
to
yes,
ecological crisis.
yes, very good. Ecological crisis. Fine. Then because of the uneven use,
Yes,
because of the accumulation of resources in few
um,
hands,
like discrimination type.
नहीं accumulate हाँ मतलब it has created discrimination in the society, right? It has created discrimination in the society in a way that the few people, those who have access to resources and those who can spend more money in having access to these resources, they are becoming richer, and the ones who don't have access to these resources, they are becoming poorer. So the society, there is a wide gap has been created in the society where some are very rich and some are very poor. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
because of this indiscriminate depletion of resources, see, there are several activities that take place for the extraction of the minerals, like mining is one such activity. And because of mining, the large land areas, they are deforested first, and then they are then they are this excavation part takes place where they dig there is a huge dig made over on the land area. And after the mining activity is over, nobody thinks of filling those lands where they have created these where they have dug the land for collecting minerals. So in that case, what happens? Soil erosion
It
takes.
causes soil erosion.
Yes, it causes soil erosion, right?
Soil erosion.
हाँ. So this is also not acceptable, soil erosion. भाई देखो सीधी सी बात है, soil is a very important part, uh, because it contains the fertility of the soil is there in
Yes,
the top layer of the soil. And if it is only getting washed off, how are we going to grow our crops? How are we going to get our food that we eat? So we need to ensure that whatever resources we are using, we are compensating them by adopting proper measures. After after the mining is done, we need to ensure that the landfills are filled up and no further depletion, no further land degradation takes place. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ. Chalo. So now coming to we are left with how much time?
ma'am, 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes. कोई नहीं. There is you all have the books with you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. 2 minutes.
There is there is an activity
And two
given.
minutes are
Only 2 minutes are there. No issues. No issues. There is an activity given over there. You have to tell whether it is a natural resource or a human resource. So what is
yes,
cotton?
ma'am.
Ma'am,
What is
A
cotton?
natural
ma'am, natural
Okay.
resource.
It is a natural resource. What is shirt?
human.
Ma'am, human resource.
Human made or human resource?
Ma'am, human made.
Human made. Very good. Forest?
Ma'am, for natural.
Forests are natural because they are gift of God. And then what are these jute bags?
Human.
Ma'am,
Huh?
human made.
They are human
Human.
made. Yeah, very good. Jute is a fiber that we obtain naturally. But
Yes,
then when
ma'am.
we process this jute into different, articles, different things that we can use. So jute bag is something that is human made. Right?
Okay,
Then we
ma'am.
have land.
Natural.
Ma'am,
Land is natural. Very good. What about school?
Human made.
human.
Human made. Because we all made these buildings, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now come to the wind.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, natural.
natural.
National
Wind is naturally available to us, right? It is free of cost. Throughout the earth, everybody can feel the wind, right? Now, clean
Yes,
environment.
sir.
Ma'am, natural.
Ma'am, I'm
national
human.
Clean environment is natural, and we as human beings, we need to ensure that we keep the environment clean,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Hmm. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
What is this oil?
Natural.
Ma'am, natural.
national
Okay, it is natural. Then we have love and affection. What is it?
Human made.
Ma'am,
Yes.
human made.
Love and affection is actually created by the human beings,
Human.
right?
Human.
Very nice. Fine. So, next class that we have, we'll be discussing in short about the sustainable development part, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Like, many of the countries in the world, they are rich in resources, they have everything with them, but the problem comes when the resources that we have, we don't try to, use them judiciously. We use them recklessly and, carelessly. And then the
Yes,
problem starts where we need to see that how we can save these resources. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, sir.
Chalo. Are we left with some time?
Ma'am, 2 minutes. Ma'am, one
Two
minute.
minutes?
Ma'am, 1 minute.
approx to get end.
Huh?
Ma'am, one.
Very
Ma'am,
less.
1 minute.
Never
Approximately
mind.
end.
So do read this chapter till here and let me know what you have not understood. Okay?
Yes,
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
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 Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Chalo.
Thank
Very
you,
good.
ma'am.
And
Thank you,
and one more
ma'am.
thing. One more thing, beta. There are some flowcharts given in the book. Kindly do them in the notebook. The new terms that are there, do these new terms also in the notebook. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes,
New
ma'am.
Yes,
terms,
ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
flowcharts that are given on the plain side of the notebook. I hope I am
Yes, ma'am.
clear with this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. चलिए. So see you next Friday, okay?
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, beta.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, class. Have a good day. ऐसे क्यों करते हो?